Bob Lazar, classified religious documents, and esoteric connections. Background on Bob Lazar. Bob Lazar rose to prominence in 1989 when he claimed to have worked on reverse engineering extraterrestrial craft as a site near Area 51, known as S4. His testimony includes descriptions of advanced propulsion systems and encounters with restricted documents that he asserts provided information about the nature of human beings and extraterrestrial involvement with Earth. Classified religious documents and the soul concept. In interviews and accounts, Lazar stated that during his time at S4, he briefly viewed classified religious documents. According to his description, these files suggested that humans are containers for souls, and that extraterrestrial beings were involved in the process of soul transfer or reincarnation. Although Lazar himself did not expand on the theological implications, the language of containers for souls directly reflects concepts found in Jewish mysticism, particularly Lurianic Kabbalah. In Kabbalistic doctrine, the human body is often described as a vessel, kli, for the divine spark or soul, neshama. The Kabbalistic notion of gingalim, soul transmigration, also aligns with themes of the soul entering multiple containers over cycles of existence. Whether Lazar was consciously referencing this tradition, or whether the alleged documents independently echoed these ideas, remains unknown. Potential link to Jewish Kabbalistic doctrine. The intersection between Lazar's account and Kabbalistic thought highlights a broader pattern, wherein mystical traditions use the imagery of vessels, or containers for the soul. In Lurianic teaching, creation itself is seen as a process of divine energy entering vessels, some of which shatter, dispersing sparks into the material world. The body as a container for the soul is central to this cosmology. Lazar's claim, if taken at face value, suggests that the alleged documents were influenced by similar mystical frameworks. It raises questions about whether high-level classified research incorporated religious or esoteric philosophies in its understanding of consciousness and life. Rabbi Michael Lightman on Jews as aliens and a mission to conquer Earth. In a lecture, Rabbi Michael Lightman used striking metaphors to describe the spiritual role of the Jewish people. He stated that Jews are aliens, originating from a completely different place, a different galaxy, a different dimension altogether. Lightman compared their presence on Earth to an undercover mission, saying they take on the form, characteristics, and traits of the nations they live among until they receive a call to awaken and remember their purpose. He described this purpose as a special mission to conquer Earth, clarifying that this conquest involves spiritual activation and the dissemination of a method for transforming humanity. He linked this awakening to an original planet and a natural force that guides the process, framing it as a return to their true cosmic source, while gathering as groups to fulfill their role. Connection to classified religious documents and Kabbalah's view of the soul. Rabbi Lightman's description of Jews as aliens from another dimension sent on a mission to conquer Earth resonates with themes reported by Bob Lazar regarding classified religious documents at Area 51, which described humans as containers of souls originating elsewhere. In Lurianic Kabbalah, the soul is seen as descending from higher spiritual realms into the material world, entering the body as a vessel for divine sparks. Lightman's imagery of an original planet and a different dimension mirrors this Kabbalistic view that true human identity exists beyond physical reality, with earthly life serving as a field for spiritual correction. The concept of awakening to a forgotten mission and gathering in groups aligns with Kabbalistic teachings on collective redemption, where dispersed sparks recognize one another and reunite to repair the world, tikkun olam, together. Lazar's claims and Lightman's statements suggest a belief in indoctrinating humanity into a narrative of the Jewish people as interdimensional messengers or agents sent with a mission from beyond the material plane, tasked with transforming the nature of life on Earth. Grey aliens and reptilians in Jewish literature. Although modern descriptions of grey aliens and reptilian beings are often associated with contemporary UFO lore, Certain Jewish mystical and folkloric texts describe non-human intelligences with attributes that bear resemblance to these archetypes. In the Zohar and other Kabbalistic writings, references are made to Shadim, spiritual entities, and Nahoshim, serpentine intelligences. Some medieval Jewish mystical sources describe beings with elongated heads, large eyes, and luminous or scaled skin, often dwelling between worlds or dimensions. These accounts were framed within the cosmology of angels, demons, and intermediary spirits rather than extraterrestrials, but the descriptions overlap with later imagery of grey and reptilian beings. Whether this indicates cultural archetypes, mythic continuity, or a record of actual encounters is left open to interpretation. 𝗏𝗏𝗱𝗏𝗏 and perceived Jewish traits. Some commentators have noted that 𝗏𝗏𝗱𝗏𝗏 exhibits characteristics often associated with Jewish heritage, such as his surname Lazar, which is historically linked to the Hebrew name 𝗖𝘆𝗰𝗲𝗏, meaning God has helped, which first appeared in Jewish Aramaic. It's linked to the biblical figure Lazarus, who was raised from the dead by Jesus. This connection contributed to its popularity, particularly in Jewish and Christian communities. His intellectual, technical background, and interest in esoteric knowledge have also drawn comparisons to cultural stereotypes of Jewish scientific and mystical curiosity. Physically, some observers point to his facial structure and features as resembling common Ashkenazi Jewish traits, though this is speculative and not evidence of ancestry. While no verified documentation confirms Lazar's religious or ethnic background, the combination of his name, demeanor, and the themes present in his narrative have led some to suggest a cultural or ancestral link to Jewish identity. The numerology of 51 and its association with Judaism. In numerological interpretation, the digits of 51 are often added together to produce the sum of 6. Within Jewish mysticism and Kabbalistic thought, the number 6 holds deep significance as it corresponds to Vav, the sixth letter of the Hebrew alphabet, which symbolizes connection and the link between the divine and the earthly. The 6 points of the Star of David, Magen David, a central Jewish symbol, also reflect the harmony of opposites and the union of spiritual and material realms. When applied to Area 51, the sum evokes speculation about whether the site's name was coincidental or intentionally chosen, aligning the number with themes of hidden knowledge, covenant, and the bridging of worlds, concepts that resonate strongly in Jewish mystical tradition. Conclusion: 𝗏𝗏𝗱𝗏𝗏's testimony remains one of the most discussed accounts in modern UFO research. His mention of classified religious documents describing humans as containers for souls introduces a unique intersection of alleged government knowledge and ancient mystical themes. The parallels with Jewish Kabbalistic doctrine suggest either a deliberate incorporation of esoteric traditions into these alleged documents or a convergence of symbolic language across separate domains, combined with echoes of non-human intelligences in Jewish mystical literature. Lazar's claims open a field of inquiry that spans technology, spirituality, and the nature of consciousness itself.